Hello soulmates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing us some important calculations and formulas you need while sewing. Have you ever had a client send just a few measurements and expect a perfect fit, or you yourself you forget to take some measurement of your client? So don't worry, you are not alone. So this also happens to me as well. So in this video, I will share some formulas and calculation hack to help you draft accurate pattern even when some measurements are missing. So basically, these are important calculations and formulas you need while sewing. So I'll be showing you for the bust point, nipple to nipple, the neck width and neck depth, bicep depth, also known as sleeve cap height, hip level, nail tightening, front crotch and back crotch of a trouser, bust cup size, and so on. So to get the bust point, also known as your shoulder to your nipple, so the formula you use to calculate this when you don't take the measurement on your client is your bust circumference divided by 4 plus 1. So for example, bust 36 divided by 4 plus 1, you have 9 plus 1, which will give you 10. So for bust 40, I'm citing another example, divided by 4 plus 1. It's going to give you 10 plus 1. In total, you have 11. So your shoulder to your bust point is going to be 11 for bust 40. So for the bust span, also known as nipple to nipple, so the formula is your bust circumference divided by 8 minus 1. For example, bust 40 divided by 8 minus 1 is going to give you 4. So the nipple to nipple for bust 40 is 4. So for bust 36 divided by 8 minus 1 is 3.5. So this is how to get your nipple to nipple measurement when you forget to take it. So up next is shoulder to under bust. So for shoulder to under bust, is a figure you need to add to the bust side. So it's either you had 4 inches or 3 inches. Adding 4 or 3 inches depends on the size of the bust. That means the bust circumference. It depends on the bust circumference. Now so let's assume shoulder to bust point is 11. So 11 plus 4 is going to give you 15. So add 4. So you are going to add 4 for bust 40 and above. So you are going to add 3 for bust 40 and below. For bust 40 and below, you are going to use 3. So for example now, so e.g. for bust 36, I'm going to assume that the shoulder to nipple for bust 36 is 10. That's 10 inches. So 10 plus 3 will give you 13. So this particular measurement works for a customer of mine that I didn't take a shoulder to under bust. So this actually works. Now for the bust cup size, we have bust cup size as well. So now the formula to use is your bust circumference minus your under bust circumference. Then you are going to divide it by 2. For example, a bust 36 minus under bust of 30 divided by 2 is going to give you 6 over 2. Then the answer you have is 3. So now drafting, I'm going to just give a simple guide on how this works by using these basic bodies. Please try to ignore my drawing. So now I've gone ahead to rule a straight line which will serve as the armhole, then shoulder slope. Then from that point I marked down is the bust point to the waist measurement. So on the center front, I'm going to mark 1 inches. Then on the side front, I'm going to mark 2 inches. This is me sharing the 3 inches that I have. So you can see I curved it. So whatever you take there, you are going to replace it. So now this is what you have. This is how you share. So for example, a bust of 50 and another bust of 48 divided by 2. That is 2 divided by 2 will give you 1. There's no how you will share 1 here. It's not possible. So all you need to do, since it's 1, you just add 2 to it. You are just adding it. You add it to it. Then you share this 3 for this particular bust size. You share it for this person. In a case where you have 2 inches as your answer, so now, assuming that you are using a princess dart, you determine you get the midpoint of your armhole like this, then you connect it to the bust point. I'm just going to extend it. So when you extend, you make sure that you replace the intake on the under bust. So you place the intake on the other bust. So now this is the princess dart. Assuming you're using princess dart, then you go down by 1 inch. Just to make sure that you do a little bit of tightening of the princess dart, just like this. So whatever you have left now, like this, what you have by the side, that is your bust cup. That is what you have as your bust cup. This is going to be your bust cup. So assuming you are using a shoulder dart, a shoulder line, shoulder dart, yes. So this is also going to be your bust cup by the time you have done the shoulder tightening and all. So now, this is what you have for your bust cup. So this is how you get it, your bust cup size. So now, by the time you deduct your bust circumference and under bust circumference divided by 2, the answer that you have before dividing by 2, you can see I have 6 there. So that 6 inches is going to be your bust cup size. It's going to be size 6. Maybe for you did calculation in size 5. 5 is going to be your bust cup size, or size 4. 4 is going to be your bust cup size. So whatever answer that you get there before dividing by 2 is going to be your bust cup size. This is the neck width and neck depth for the front and the back. So you must have had a situation whereby you use 3 by 3 inches for your customer and it doesn't work. Well, it has happened to me before. So I was thinking, using my head, but it eventually did not work. But that 3 by 3 doesn't work for everybody. So now there's a formula to get that. So the formula is your bust circumference divided by 12. So for example now, I have a bust 38. Let's use 38 now. 38 divided by 12 is going to give me 3.16. So I will approximate it to 3.2 or leave it at 3.16, whichever way it works for me. So now to get the back depth, your back depth is 1 inch. It is constant. While the back width is same as the calculation that you have earlier, 3.16 or 3.2 when you approximate it. So next is to get the sleeve cap height or your bicep depth. Or you can call it bicep depth, whichever one you want to call it. So the formula to get this is your bust circumference divided by 12 plus 1 or 1.5 inch. So now for example, bust 36 divided by 12 plus 1 is going to give me 4. So I want you guys to notice that the significant thing used mostly in this calculation is the bust. So bear in mind that the bust measurement is like very essential. So now we have 4. So now I'm just going to rule a tabular form to show you how to get your cap sleeve. So now from that point that I marked, from that point is your cap sleeve. That is where you mark 4 inches. Then you rule a straight line across. So there's also a measurement to get your bicep width. That's the circumference around the bicep. There's a formula for it to get it. So now you just say your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1 or 1.5. So for example, bust 36 divided by 6 plus 1. So I have 7 inches for the bicep width is 7 inches. So now I'm just going to rule a straight line. That point I marked was what I indicated as 7 inches. And from that point, I'm just going to be connecting it to that point. So that point I am connecting is 7 inches as the width. So now I'm just going to make this thing look like a cap sleeve. So a cap height, I mean. So that point that I'm putting 4 inches is how to get your cap height. So this is how a sleeve looks like. So next up is new tightening. So new tightening, um how will I say it? So new tightening for a perfect skirt fit and gown fit, that is that are straight skirt, straight gown, you need to do new tightening. You need to do new tightening so that you have a perfect fit around that new part, so that it doesn't look big. So the formula to calculate this, you need your waist circumference. Your waist circumference plus 6 divided by 2. So let's say this is I'll call this formula A, because we also have your hip circumference divided by 2. So let's say this one, I mark it as A and this as B. So now for A, assuming your waist circumference is 30 plus 6 inches divided by 2, you have 36 divided by 2 would give you 18. So next, like point B now, which is your hip divided by 4. So assuming your hip measurement is 42, then you divide it by 2, So whatever you get, you are going to be marking it down. So I have about 21. So now we are going to say B, the answer we have in B minus A. So now the answer I have in B is 21 and what I have in A is 18. So what my answer now is 21 minus 18 is going to give me 3. So I also want you to note something, that if the figure at the end of your calculation like this, if the figure you have is less than 3, use it. If it's less than 3, use it. But if it is above 3, use it. Maybe you have about 4 inches, you use it. Maybe you have about 2 inches, that is less than 3, you use it. So this nail tightening now is not going to be directly on your nail. No, you are going to go up by 2 inches or 3 inches, so that the fitting can start from that 3 inches all the way down. Because if you start on your nail, it's not going to give you that fitting. It's not going to give you that fitting of a nail tightening. So let's assume this is our skirt block. So now this first line I wrote is the hip line, then the next one is the nail, and that, let's say that's the full skirt length. So I'm just going to go ahead and curve it in, then draw it all the way down. So now you can see so let's assume this nail now, we've gone up by 3 inches. So the nail tightening is above your nail. Maybe your nail, you measured it is like 21 inches, then you go up by 3 inches. So just for it to give you a perfect fit, like a perfect fit around the nail. A perfect fit. That's why you are doing this nail tightening. To give you a perfect fit, a perfect look for your skirt, for your gown, for things that are straight, your straight skirt, your straight gown. So we also have hip level. So there's really no calculation for hip level, but your hip level is from your waist to your hip. Your waist to your hip, and your hip level should be between 8 to 10 inches. 8 to 10 inches from your waist. 8 to 10 inches from your waist. So let's assume that below 40 inches, you use 8 inches for the hip level. Then 40 to 45, you use about 9 inches for the hip level. Then 45 to 50, you use about 10 inches. This is just a guide. You might have the preferred hip level you want to use for your client, but this is just a guide, should in case you didn't take the measurement. So next up is trouser. So now to get the front crotch extension for your trouser, the front crotch extension, so the formula to use is your hip measurement divided by 20. So for the back crotch extension is your hip measurement, that's your hip circumference, divided by 10. So for high-waisted trouser, to have an high-waisted trouser, There's also a calculation for that. So all you have to do is get your hip circumference divided by 4 plus 2. So there are some people who like their trouser low-waisted. All you have to do is get your hip circumference divided by 4 minus 1. I hope this tip was helpful. Thank you guys for watching.